Karibu kwenye Msasa, where we talk to successful people about failure. James, karibu kwenye Msasa.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Ever since I met you, there was no doubt in my mind that this guy knows how to sell. And not in the negative perception that people have when they think about selling,
right,
as this big scary thing, or as this thing where you're trying to persuade someone or convince them, or almost be deceitful in order to get what you want, but rather in a way where it's almost as if it's in your best interest to listen, because when you really, really listen and hear me out, I might just help you make a decision that's good for you. And I was just like, okay, this is cool.
Right.
And and that's also because selling is something I've had to learn. Still learning, actually. And it wasn't the easiest thing. Because again, in the beginning, that was also my perception. Like, I don't want to lie to people. But selling is not lying.
It's not.
It's actually almost teaching, you know?
Right. It's educating them.
It's educating them, right? So they can make the best decision.
Right.
Eventually, they make the decision, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. No, like you say, that's the thing. When people speak about selling, people are like, I don't want to be a salesman. I don't want to be a salesperson. But in actuality, salespeople work on commission, right?
Right.
So they're some of the highest paid people in all the professions.
Yeah.
Most salespeople make more than a doctor and a lawyer make, right? But like you say, the negative connotations and perceptions that come with the word sales, people are a little standoffish. And even within my company, I always tell them, we don't sell anything. We don't sell real estate. We help people get what they want, right? So I always explain to them, never try to sell people. People can spot a salesperson a mile away. You know, your average salesperson doesn't listen to what the customer or the client wants. If you listen to what they say and shut your mouth just for a little while, ask them certain questions, and then you just give them what they say. Like in my case, someone said, I want a 3-bedroom, 3-bath apartment. I want it in Bueni, and I don't want it to be more than $1,200 per month. I say, got you. Week later, I call you and say, here's your 3-bedroom, 3.5 bath at $1,200 a month and in Bueni. What you think? Don't go show them a 2-bedroom, 1-bath in Masaki.
It's not what they asked for.
It's not what they asked for. So when you're doing that, you're selling them. You sell them and they say, you're just trying to make your money. So that you never want a client or a customer to take the perception that you're only in it for your money. You have to think of their interests. And even, again, in our business, I always tell them, never think about your commission. It's the last thing you think about. You think about how you're going to help that client get what they want. The minute you start thinking about how much money you will make through this transaction, it shows on your face. Money shows on your face. And when that client sees that money look on your face, you just lost the deal because you're not responding with care. You're not responding with the what they were seeking. You know, whatever probing questions you gave to them, you're supposed to always have a notepad, write down what they want, and you seek to what they want, not what you want. You know, so I think that's one of the things that people, we call it a misnomer when it comes to salespeople, is that salespeople are trying to screw you over. And particularly when you talk about car salesmen, that's what gives the bad rap. That gives the largest rap to the sales game. Also, real estate agent gives a bad rap. They get
especially
a bad
in
rap.
this market.
Yeah, well, we don't call those real estate agents. You're talking about dalalis.
Oh, those aren't real estate agents.
That's not real estate agents.
Okay, we'll get to that.
Yeah, it's just a total different.
Okay.
That's Wild Wild West.
Okay.
Unregulated.
Okay.
Real estate agents, they get a bad rap because of the amount of commission that they earn through a transaction. People are like, you made all this money, right? But they don't understand the work that goes into finding the right client and doing this and all the stuff that goes through it. So what you have is is you can get a bad rap through the amount of income you make from the transaction, which is the same thing with a car salesman, relating to more like a U.S. car salesman. They'll make $2,000 or $3,000 on every car they sell. And these guys running around, nice houses, everything. So he's like, they feel like you didn't earn that commission. So car salesmen, people don't feel like they earned it. And a real estate agent, no one feels like they earned it. So since they feel like they haven't earned it, it also comes across as that you are not like, you didn't study this or you're professional to do this. You're just getting lucky with this thing. And then the other part comes when across the world, agents don't get back to people. Number one complaint of real estate agents globally, done by J.D. Power and Associates, the survey. Number one complaint is that real estate agents don't get back to people. But it's because of the amount of communications that a real estate agent has to do daily. People don't realize that. I do at least 100 emails every day. I don't know how many WhatsApp messages that I have to do. And then prepare that, you got to prepare for this client, prepare for this and get that. So you get bottlenecked with things, but there's no excuse. There's no excuse. You have to always get back to people. So that's where that comes from when you talk about sales. So those two salespeople are some of the most targeted salespeople globally. And then you have your appliance salespeople and your insurance salespeople.
People who sell services.
But people typically don't trust salespeople in general. That's why you can't sell them. It's not a sales game. I say we build relationships. We don't try to sell you. We want to build a relationship. If you look at a relationship, then you're focusing on a different aspect of the transaction. Why you want a relationship? Because I want to do a transaction with you today and tomorrow and next year and in 5 years. And I want your kids to come do a transaction with me. Right. That's what it is. You want the repeat business. If we didn't have repeat business in our business, there would be no business. You can't go out there and get new business every time. That's what a Dalali does. He doesn't get repeat business. You go to him once, you're not referring him to anyone, you're not calling him again.
Yeah.
Because the reputation that goes with them is the dishonesty that goes there. Because real estate is not their main game. It's a chance game. They're selling cars, they're selling tour packages, they're selling houses, selling motorcycles, they're selling containers. So it's like, let me get lucky on one of these. But once you take your craft and take it serious, and this is the only thing you're gonna do, then people take you serious.
I'd like to dive a little bit deeper into that. But before, you said something that's interesting. You said some people feel some type of way about real estate agents, right? Because they don't quite feel like they earned that commission.
Right.
And it's funny because just the other day we were talking here with the team and we were like, why does it always feel a little bit painful to pay a real estate agent or a dalali?
Right.
They're due. I mean, they told us before we began, we agreed on it, but when it's time, it's always like...
it's the worst part of it.
Is it? Like, is this
every time.
Yeah. Why is it though?
They hate it.
Why?
I don't know, man. I do business with we do so many transactions. And I would say probably about 40%, at least about 40% of all the transactions, when it comes time for money, people change.
Like
I've seen it so many times. No, when the pure concept that the money is going to come, people start acting crazy. They love you to bits when they say, sell my property. But after you got a deal on the property, they want to pick fights with you because this money they got to pay you now, right? But I always say, look at it like this. If you were to go to the bank and ask the bank, go to the bank and say, I want $100,000 bank loan, right? How much is the bank going to require of you for that $100,000?
Usually a lot.
How much equity, you got to give them something to get that $100,000, right? You got to give them some collateral.
Yeah.
Or you got to give them some equity in form of cash.
Yeah, some kind of proof that their money is going to be safe.
Well, basically, it's that they want to lower their risk.
They want to lower their risk.
They're never going to give you a full 100.
Yeah.
They're going to give you a percentage.
Yeah.
So they take
the equity.
They take the collateral, which we call the equity.
Yeah.
Is basically we say they want you to put sweat in the game.
Yeah.
So if you want 100, I want 20. Bring me 20,000, then I'll give you 100.
Yeah.
Because now you're invested.
Yeah.
If I gave you 100, you're not invested.
Yeah.
So the equity, whether it's your house or your car, your title of your car, they're going to take something for that.
Yeah.
So that is the part where they will require at least 20%. In the best banking market, they're going to require at least 10%.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
To get that 100,000.
Yeah.
But I'm going to get you that 100,000, and all I want is 6%. So why should you have a problem with that? I'm bringing you $100,000, and I'm taking 6% to bring you that 100. I'm cheaper than going to the bank and getting it. But they have a problem. They go to the bank, no problem, and pay interest on top of it. You're going to take the money and pay interest. So it's not the same 20%, because they're going to tack on, in our market, they're going to tack on 10% on top of that. And you're going to pay over 3 years. By the time you pay over 3 years, you pay the extra $30,000. Right? So that's just a small thing, but people, money in general, there's a reason why they say it's the root of all evil. Because when money hits some people's hands, there's a reason why some people are allergic to money.
They're allergic to money.
Allergic to money. Because when they touch it, bro, they go crazy. They do. I've seen it so many times in my business. And we deal with a lot of figures. I'm talking about anything that was $100,000 of his $15 million. When people know money's coming, they change. And that's what happens at the end of a transaction. It's time to pay you. They grudgingly want to pay you. So they want to start a fight. Well, it could be about anything. You messed up here. You did this. You did that. But we're used to it.
So, the same example you just used, when I go to a bank, I give 20% up front. And here I'm paying later, which is more convenient and it's even less, but I have an issue with it. Could it be a perception thing?
It is a perception. The perception, like you said, is no one feels that we earn our commission. They don't realize what we have to do to get it.
What do you have to do to get it?
Like, for example, you want to sell your house.
Yeah.
Okay, first I need to go out there and make sure I can sell it.
Yeah.
I can't take a property that I think I can't sell.
Okay.
I got to make sure the price is right.
Like it's realistic.
And coming to every buyer, no matter who the buyer is, every seller always think their house is worth more than what it is. It's never been a case where someone says, I want to sell my house, and I get to the house and they tell me the exact market price that it should sell for. It's always inflated. We got to bring them down to size and say, your emotions, take it from this transaction, right? Because people are emotionally attached to their property. So they want X, Y, Z. But the market will only pay what the market is willing to pay.
Yeah.
So what we say is willing buyer, willing seller. If you don't have anybody willing to buy that property, it's not worth anything until someone's willing to. So that's how you put the price. So that's the first thing we have to do, is do that assessment. Then after we get your property, we got to find a buyer for it, right? We have a database, or we may have people in our, what we say in the old days, Rolodex.
Yeah.
Remember that?
That you can call up.
You can call up and say, I got this for you. I got this for you. I got this for you. So you have to go through all these steps. You got to do a load of communications, right? Like, again, we're trying to sell your house. I can take 20 people to your house before I sell it. So let's say, for example, your house is in Mbezi. Our office is in Masaki.
Yeah.
So that's a 20-minute drive without traffic. Right?
Otherwise, it's 45 to an hour.
And a lot of times during the day, you're going to get, let's say 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I could leave my office. I'm 30 minutes to show the property. I spend 30 minutes showing the property at least. That's 1 hour.
Yeah.
I got to go 30 minutes back.
Yeah.
That's an hour and a half. Let's just call it 2 hours.
Yeah.
So 2 hours out of my day every time I come to show your property. I showed it 20 times. So that's 40 hours. I've already got invested. Don't talk about the fuel. How much fuel is that 40 hours of driving, right? Then the WhatsApp messages that come through the internet, the emails that you got to reply to, all these people that waste your time because most of them are time wasters. 90% is not going to buy anything. They just want to know. They want to know what is the price you're selling your house for because the neighbor wants to know or the friend wants to know, but they don't want to ask you. So they call us and say, can you show me the house? So all these games are played. So by the time we finally sell a house, we can put 100 hours into this. So what is that worth? What is 100 hours worth of someone's time and expertise? You see? So that's what people, when the check comes, like if you're a $100,000 house, you're gonna owe us commission $6,000 to $8,000. You're just not gonna like the feeling of that when it's time for it. You're just like, can we negotiate? That's what comes up.
Paid?
People want to sometimes negotiate after everything's done. Can we negotiate? Like, no, we can't negotiate. No. The worst, I tell you, the worst experience is you give me your house today and I find a buyer in 3 days.
So then it looks easy.
Oh, then it looks easy. Then that
you didn't even do anything.
That's what they say. That's exactly what they say. $8,000. It was 3 days. And I've had it. We've had like houses for a couple of days, a house for 1 month. Hey, you only showed it one time.
Yeah.
But you don't understand. We have people in the queue already looking for stuff.
Yeah.
So sometimes we make people sign the contract, our list, it's called our exclusivity agreement. We want you to sign that just to see if you are committed and you have integrity. Right? Once you sign that, sometimes we already have people that's waiting for such a product.
Right.
So as soon as we get it, we call them up. Hey, we got this for you. We got this. Hey, come through. And when you do a transaction very fast, then they really don't want to pay you.
Do you sometimes stall?
Sometimes, I'm sorry?
Would you sometimes have to stall?
No,
like there was work that was done.
Yeah, you can't.
You got the deal in 3 days and you're like, let's wait till Friday. Let's make it look like 7 days.
No, you can't do that. The reason why you can't do that is real estate code of ethics.
Okay.
Right? Code of ethics clearly states that you must do everything in your client's best interest.
Okay.
So if I hold the deal just so that they don't make a noise, it's not in their best interest. Because I can lose the buyer too.
Yeah. They could get something else.
The buyers go quick. If a buyer wants to buy, he wants to buy immediately.
Yeah.
If you stall him, he finds something else and you lose a deal. Yeah. Now, my client didn't sell the property.
Yeah.
So no, you can't do that. You have to bring it forward. But it's happened and we know how to deal with it. And sometimes if I sell very, very fast, sometimes I will negotiate because I don't have a lot of time invested.
Right.
If I have like just 3 hours invested, why should I charge a guy $30,000 for 3 hours? All right, let's do the deal. And so then it's fine. Yeah.
So you negotiate less?
When certain circumstances like that, if you get something very fast, yeah. Because then it's not so much time. It depends. It also depends on the client.
What if
the client is a jerk, we don't discount.
Okay.
We don't discount for that guy.
Yeah.
It's more, you play it case by case. Also, I spend so much time
traveling.
No, just always reading something real estate related.
How so?
I spend like 3 or 4 hours a day, just always global things. I watch every day at least an hour of news, and I'm always watching indexes, what's going on in the property market in California, what's going on in Japan, what's going on in China. So I'm always, at least 2 hours every day, I'm doing something real estate related, of just empowering myself in my mind, in the craft. So I always know what I'm talking about. You always have to have your finger on the pulse.
Have you always done that? Or is that like something you started doing recently?
Well, no, it's something actually, no. Actually, I'm like everybody else, just jumped in and tried to get lucky.
So it's wisdom.
Right? But experience. No, now because of social media, everything is moving. So you get access to everything faster.
Yeah.
When I first started, I don't know if you want to go that far into something, but when I started my real estate career, of course, there was no social media. This was 1991, 92. Okay. So my first thing I did is work for this commercial real estate firm. We had a cold call. And if people don't know what cold calling is when you just literally cold call. You pick a number out of the phone book, you call the number and say, hey, you need some real estate?
Yeah.
So my first real estate career job was I was a commercial real estate agent in Atlanta, Georgia. And I took the Yellow Pages and I called every day for 6 hours, every number in the Yellow Pages.
Karibu kwenye Msasa, where we talk to successful people about failure.
And how much did it yield me? Nothing. Not one. It didn't yield me nothing. And that's why I got sick and tired, like, why am I doing this? And then I said to myself, wait a minute, you know what? I need to make these people want to meet me.
Yeah.
Because first I wanted to say, how do I meet these people? How do I meet these people? How do I get these people, get to them? And I said, what can I do to make them want to meet me? And once that light bulb went off, that's when my career took off. Because they wanted to meet me. And long story short, my office was in the same building. A lot of people have never heard of LaFace Records, but it was a really big record company back in the day.
Isn't that the one where Babyface is from?
Babyface,
Yeah,
L.A. Reid, Tony Braxton,
yeah,
TLC,
yeah.
Organized Noise.
Yeah.
All these, who else? Usher.
Usher's from LaFace?
Everybody's from LaFace.
Okay. Everybody
That's
who sings
Atlanta.
R&B? Oh, Atlanta.
Atlanta, Georgia. It was the mecca of music. There were 3 people who moved to Atlanta that made it what it is today. It was L.A. and Babyface and Bobby Brown.
Bobby Brown.
When they moved to Atlanta, that's when I moved to Atlanta. When I heard Bobby Brown moved to Atlanta, I said, I got to go to Atlanta. Something's going on there. And I went to Atlanta. And luckily, it reversed the story, is that when I became a commercial agent, my office was 2 floors below LaFace Records. So every day, I'm in the elevator with these celebrities. Every day, right? But, you know, I don't say hello. I mean, maybe I say hello, but I don't like try to get close to them.
Yeah.
So that's when the light bulb went off. How could I make them want to meet me? So what did I do? I found out who's everybody's lawyer. I went to their lawyer and spoke to their lawyer that I'm James, real estate. I'm doing this, commercial real estate. Because that lawyer liked me so much from the first meeting, we only had the one meeting. He says, don't worry, from now on, everybody's going to work with you. His office was around the corner from my office. By the time I walked to my office, the manager for all the artists was called my office and said, please come see me. And from that day forward, that was my real estate career. I was representing all the celebrities of Atlanta from that one time that I went to go see the lawyer. And that lawyer to this day is still alive, and he's the most powerful lawyer in the whole entertainment industry. You can Google, his name is Joel Katz.
Joel Katz.
Joel Katz. At the time, he represented 80% of all country music and hip-hop R&B artists. And that's how I started. But it wasn't the phone book. It wasn't a cold call. It was the relationship.
Right.
As we go back to that. I built a relationship with everybody's lawyer.
So how many years did it take for you to stop thinking about the commission? Because it's hard to not think about what the check's gonna look like. Because to a very large degree, it's also the motivation, you know?
Yeah.
Not the only one maybe, but it is a motivation.
You know, I think the reason why even then, I didn't think about the commission. I was broke, for sure, you know, but I still was living good. I'm broke with no cash in the bank. But I had a nice car. I live in a nice neighborhood. Even I was only, 22 years old, but I was good. Excuse me. But I think, you know, it's funny. I tell people all the time, don't think of the money. Don't think of the money. But it's hard to tell someone that if they never had the money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Me, I've had money since I was 17. So I've always had. I've always had. Yeah, I've been broke and I slept in my car a couple of nights and car got repossessed, house got foreclosed, but I always bounced back. But I never even look. I always look at it as a temporary thing. I don't let it get me down. So I'm not saying I was rich. I'm saying I always did okay. You know, I always did better than most of my peers. You know what I mean? You know, when I was younger, I was 22 as an entrepreneur. I'm helping take care of my friends who are in medical school. I'm helping them with rent, helping them get their education while I'm out there doing my entrepreneurial thing. So it's just that money's never driven me. And it's a corny thing to say, and most people do not believe you. But once you let money be your direction and purpose, the money controls you. When will you ever be happy? I focus on what makes me happy. Like you asked me before we started, I think, the tapes, we were talking about, I've done 2 things in my life. I've only done 2 things in my entire life. Entertainment business, real estate business, right? They both make me happy. That's why I do them. I'm not going to be no plumber. I'm not going to be talking about, I'm going to do a mine, Tanzanite mine and all this. I do things that make me happy. And through happiness, that's the reward. So everybody wants to be associated with someone who's happy. Money comes naturally if you're happy. If you focus on money, you're never happy. And I tell you, astute people can see in your eyes when you're chasing money. You look hungry and you look like you don't care about them. Me, I want to give you, I don't want to give you too much information where you can connect the dots, but I've walked away from deals.
Okay.
I've walked away from deals. If someone's becoming disrespectful, if I don't trust you, I think that you this.
Yeah.
I've walked away from deals. Or if someone wants to say that, they may get a little ignorant with me, I'm like, okay, you know what? Let's not do this. Don't worry. No problem. I'll tell you a really famous one. I don't know how I can say it without, because I have a confidentiality thing in there. They wouldn't go after me, but I want to. Okay. All right.
Make it fictional then.
How do I make it fictional? It's too...
Fictional character, fictional name, fictional situation, but the message is still the same.
Okay. I'm going to change the location. Okay. I was in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Okay. In Albuquerque...
Breaking Bad.
Right. Breaking Bad. Yeah. Is that where it is?
Yeah.
Okay. In Albuquerque, the mayor wanted to buy a house. Mm-hmm. Oh, no, Atlanta. Okay. Let's use Atlanta. Okay. Atlanta.
Okay.
So I'm in Atlanta. Remind you people, this is, again, fictional, right? It's not fictional.
I don't know, every time I hear Atlanta, I think strip clubs and trap music.
Yeah. I was there in the days of before trap music, but not before strip clubs.
Okay.
We used to have meetings at Magic City.
Okay.
So that's the most famous strip club ever.
Okay.
Magic City. Imagine in a strip club. Sorry for changing the subject a little bit. But imagine being in a strip club. And I used to be in a strip club cutting real estate deals. Because the celebrities I'm working with.
That's where they hang out?
I had 2 places to meet all the celebrities. Either I'm meeting them in their studios or I'm meeting them in a strip club.
Okay.
Because they only get up to 2:00 in the afternoon.
Okay.
So we go, imagine you talking about real estate in a strip club, having a steak when some girl's out there doing like this in front of you while you're trying to have your steak.
Yeah, 2 steaks.
That's the strip club, Magic City.
A lot of steaks.
Yeah. Well, let's go back to the, what is it? What you call it? What kind of steak is it?
It's a lot of steaks.
A lot of steak, right?
There's a lot at stake.
A lot at stake, yeah. That's a good one, a lot at stake, yeah.
Yeah, so the deal?
So the deal...
with the mayor.
So with the mayor.
Yeah.
Of Atlanta. Mm-hmm. So he says he wants to buy a house in Atlanta. So I just started my real estate career, right?
Yeah.
So he comes in, he says, I want to buy a house. Because he heard, hey, it's James, blah, blah, blah. I said, no problem. So I take him around. Well, I get a call from his office. Mm-hmm. He says, the mayor's office, chief of staff says, James, we understand you're in real estate. You've been referred to us. The mayor would like you to show him a house and sell him a house. I said, okay. So I had this list. Show him 4 properties. He buys. But the seller, when the seller found out it was the mayor,
they changed the mind.
He changed the price.
He changed the price.
That's what I'm talking about. People get when money's coming.
Yeah.
They're like, the mayor has money.
Yeah, he can afford it.
Right. He can afford it. So he increased the price because he found out it was the mayor. And the mayor was such a nice guy, I wanted the deal to happen. So what I did was I walked away from my commission. 0 commission. So that he can have it. Because the mayor was only willing to pay X price when the seller wanted Y.
Right.
It wasn't matching.
Yeah.
The actual difference on the price was my commission.
Oh.
So I was like, I did the math. I was like, if I remove my commission, you got a deal.
Yeah.
Okay. But the mayor was so angry that I walked away from my commission.
That you walked away?
That I walked away. So the mayor said, okay, you know what? I don't like that, but everything we do, we'll do through you. You charge us for your time. So I got no commission on the deal, but for 1 year, he wanted drapes, called James. He wanted this, called James. Whatever he wanted.
Inside the house?
Yeah, everything he wanted went through James, and I got to charge him for my time.
So you became a consultant.
I became a consultant. But the thing is, the mayor's business is the thing that catapulted the business because everybody wanted to work with me because we had the mayor's business.
Oh.
Right.
Okay.
So this story just happened to take place somewhere else, like in Zanzibar.
Yeah.
And had to do with a head of state. But I can't say the head of state that it involved.
Yeah.
And that's what actually put Remax on the map in Tanzania.
Remax began in Zanzibar before Tanzania, before Dar, before mainland.
No, Remax started in Tanzania, but they couldn't penetrate the market.
Tanzania mainland,
yeah. They started it around 2012. 2010, they started. But at that point, Dar es Salaam was booming. No one needed a real estate agent because they could sell stuff so fast. So they took
So when the market is booming, people don't need agents?
When you're if you're in the heat of a market, if your market is very, what we call bullish, right? You know the term bullish and bearish, right? So in a bullish market, everything's moving fast. Everybody's going to buy, right? So they didn't need agents because they were selling themselves. So they couldn't get off the ground. And nobody wanted Zanzibar. Everybody wanted to be in Dar at that time because that's where all the money was. I said, you know what? Give me Zanzibar. If I can just do Zanzibar, I'm good. Nobody wanted Zanzibar. None of the people. So I started Remax in Zanzibar, but then the Remax here closed. So we ended up taking the entire country because the person who owned the whole country, he was falling. And people only knew Remax because of the Zanzibar office. So all of the country only knew Remax because of that one office, not because what they did here. So we ended up absorbing the whole Tanzania eventually. So headquarters for Remax Tanzania is Zanzibar. We started our first office in Zanzibar. Then after 2021, we decided to return to mainland.
Okay. So Remax is how old now? 12 years?
No, we started Remax 2016.
2016. So yes. Like 18?
What's 18? What's 18?
2016. Oh, 8, actually.
Yeah, 8, yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking
mathematics
2006.
Wasn't my strong point either.
Okay. So I'm curious. If you were able to do real estate in Atlanta, and overall in the US, you've also lived in South Africa, right?
Right.
And if real estate is something that you began with very early on, even as you're doing entertainment, I'm guessing you were also checking out the real estate market and seeing what the opportunities were there?
In South Africa?
Yeah.
No, I went there for real estate.
You went there for real estate?
I went to... Now that's another story it's a longer story, which I don't think your listeners have enough patience for that story. But when I came to South Africa, I came with the mayor of Atlanta.
Okay.
On a delegation.
Okay.
But I was representing a company back in the day, which I'm sure no one heard of anymore. It's called MCI Communications.
Okay.
So MCI and AT&T. You know AT&T?
Yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah.
Sprint. So MCI said, okay, I worked for MCI. They said, okay, go over there and see what's there to offer. So I go there and I see that it's great, but I wanted to move there, but I was unable to because I didn't know the market.
Okay.
I can't go into real estate without knowing the market, right?
Okay.
So since I didn't know the market, I said, let me do something else to understand what's going on here. So I got into cellular phones. Which I also did when I was in college. I sold cellular phones, so it's something I knew. And then after cellular phones, 6 months later, I opened up a nightclub in South Africa. So the nightclub I ran for several years, which was like the number one nightclub in the country, and gave me time to understand the people, what was going on. And then I got into real estate. So I moved there 1995. I did entertainment until 2002. Nightclubs, events, concerts, comedy shows. So I started like black comedy shows in South Africa. So I created this comedy property like Def Jam. So I did that for a while there. And then I took the comedy property, and what I would do is through my entertainment, every month I would buy one gold bullion every month. One Cougar Rand, 1 ounce coin of Cougar Rand I would buy every month with my entertainment money. Then in 2002, 2003, I decided I got enough information. Let me go back into real estate.
So was that how you were saving money, or?
I was saving money with gold.
Why?
Because I knew it was the safest bet.
Okay.
I bought coins I didn't keep much money in the bank. I would buy gold coins, Cougar Rand in particular, because Cougar Rand is the most tender gold coin in the entire world. A Cougar Rand. I can take a Cougar Rand anywhere in the world and people would buy it from me at the market price.
Very interesting.
So that's how I went into real estate. I took a stack of Cougar Rands and started my real estate portfolio in Johannesburg.
So I'm curious now, why all these big developed markets did you end up deciding Tanzania is where I'm going to settle for a while?
Good question. South Africa was great, and then it started slipping. Like I said, I built a nice real estate portfolio in South Africa. And I realized that this market is about to crash.
Okay.
It was 2007 when I realized it, because most of my real estate in South Africa was what we call urban renewal properties.
Urban renewal?
Urban renewal.
Okay.
So it's basically the ghetto that you're trying to clean up the ghetto.
To make it more livable.
More livable.
Okay.
Right. So all my properties were there, and these people pay religiously all the time, right?
Okay.
Because mostly it's immigrants who live in these areas. It's not South Africans.
Okay.
It's usually Zimbabweans, the Mozambicans, the Congolese.
Yeah.
They live in this area.
Okay.
Those people pay religiously.
Okay.
When it's time rent due, they don't want any problem because they don't want no police because most of them are illegal.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So in 2007, it started slowing down. People started to come late, not paying me. And some of them, when they can't pay, just move out in the middle of the night, right?
They run away, yeah.
They don't want no trouble.
Yeah.
So I started seeing this like, wait a minute, something wrong. But on the news, real estate market is booming. They're going on and on about the real estate, how buoyant the real estate market. I'm like, no, they're lying. Because I saw these people. When those people have a problem paying you is when I realized that there's a problem with the market. Because the waiter and the waitress that were renting from me can't pay their rent. That's who they dishwasher, they were laborers who can't pay their rent. That means somebody's not paying them. And that was my red flag to sell my real estate in South Africa and move to Tanzania. And the main reason I moved to Tanzania was the proximity to South Africa. Mm-hmm. It was either here or Ghana. Ghana had 2 flights a week back then. From South Africa to Ghana with 2 flights a week, but Tanzania had 2 flights a day. Mm-hmm. So I said, I can live in South Africa and just bounce in and out of here. And that's what I did. Since 2007, like I said, I came here twice. I came here once a year for 2 or 3 months every year since 2007 before moving in 2012.
Okay.
So that was just research. Mm-hmm. I did no business from 2007 to 2012, zero business.
5 years.
I did 7 years. I did zero business. I was just researching the market, understanding the people.
2007, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You're just coming to check it out.
2 months a year, I would come and just check it out and relax.
Oh, so you would come in for holiday?
Yeah, no. I was camp out for 2 or 3 months a year.
It's very interesting.
I had to do research before I made my move.
Huh. Most startups die before they even get to that number of years.
But, I'm not trying to be like boastful or bragging, but I was cash liquid.
Okay.
When I came here.
Right.
Right? Because I had rental properties in South Africa.
Right.
Everything was fine.
Right.
I didn't want to do any business. Actually, my brain was dead. I didn't want to do any business.
Okay.
I just wanted to see what Tanzania had to offer.
Okay.
So I just wanted to study.
Okay.
And 2012 is when I figured out now I got enough information. Let me move over there.
Okay. But do you still have a base in SA?
As a business?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No. I just have my home there. I have a home which
Okay.
I've had for 20 years.
Okay.
But no business activity.
Okay.
The Rand is not doing so well these days. He's a little sick.
Okay.
Yeah, the Rand is. So that's the other reason Tanzania is pretty much a dollar-based economy, right? So here it allows you to compete anywhere in the world because of Tanzanian currency, whether it's the shilling or the dollar or the euro, you can compete. You can take your shilling because whatever you're charging your shilling amount,
it's a dollar
version,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So when you travel, you don't feel the pinch of that.
You just need to do your math.
If you're in South Africa, you're going to feel the pinch. It's 18-1 as of today. So you go to travel, you go have a steak. You have a steak, and let's say Tanzania, a steak here costs what? Like $25, $30 if we convert, right? For a nice steak. You know how much it is in South Africa? It's like 500 Rand. Back in the day, I could have bought a whole bags of groceries full for 500 Rand. So that's to give you how bad the currency is falling.
But is that the same everywhere, almost?
No.
Because it's the same here too. Like money
but when you're
doesn't
dealing with
stretch as far.
Everyone
10,000 isn't what it was.
Yeah, but it's all relative, I believe. Yeah, we all complaining about the price of groceries, the price of this, the price of that. But you're charging more on your daily rate for your consultancy and your entertainment stuff, right?
Yeah.
I'm charging more on my commission. So everybody had to increase their rates in order to accommodate for
the inflation,
The inflation, right. So have our lifestyles changed? Have your lifestyle changed since?
For better.
Yeah. Because we're paying, 30, 40% more for all of our groceries? But has your lifestyle changed?
Yeah, maybe not as...
You haven't missed a beat.
Yeah.
You just pay it.
But it's because we adapt.
Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly right. We adapt.
So what's your experience with the Tanzanian dalali?
Karibu kwenye Msasa, where we talk to successful people about failure.
Oh, is that a trick question?
Because
throw myself under the bus.
Because earlier you said a dalali isn't an agent.
A dalali is a who?
Is not an agent.
He's not an agent.
It says he is, however, and she. There's females now who are in the game.
No, okay. I'll just, I feel like this is a setup question.
It's not a setup,
but I tell you, the thing with dalalis is they need to get educated, right? You can't go out there and try to get lucky. Know your business. Study this thing. If you're going to sell real estate, sell real estate. Don't go out there selling motorcycles, cars, and tour packages. Create it as a craft. So with dalalis, it's just like, I know somebody, and we do something. And integrity. There's no honesty or integrity within the industry for dalalis. That's why the government is now putting together structures because people have been getting swindled and ripped off. It was in the paper last week, right? So it's not my words. It's government words that people are being taken advantage of and dishonesty in the market. That's exactly what they said. Dishonesty. So dalalis out there who are dishonest, they make money once or twice, but they don't make it continuously because the dishonesty is never going to get you continuous money. It's going to be always short term.
But you're referring to, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're referring to the people who are technically more they're hustling, right?
They're hustling.
Yeah, whatever's available, they'll sell it. They think they can sell whatever moves.
Right.
And as a result of that, they never become specialists.
Right.
And which in many ways is them gambling, right?
Yeah.
They wake up, they don't even know what they're going to do. So whatever comes, we go with it.
Right.
There are, however, quite a number that I've also met, and some of them even helped me get a place.
We call those professional dalalis.
So they're professional dalalis.
We have professional dalalis. We work with professional dalalis.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So dalali, as a dalali, is just anybody who hustles anything for a commission.
We have professional dalalis who show up on time, dress code together, but they still have that shady characteristics. That's the part we got to get rid of. There's no integrity in it. So we deal with the professional ones, but I know, and I don't act like I know all dalalis. There's so many, but in Tanzania, I would say there's about 6 that I would consider professional dalalis. Is dalalis that we call when we need something. We say, let's call this person. Let's call this one. Hey, if you got something, you know something. You know what I mean? So we don't mind that. But I don't want, no, I ain't saying what I want to say. No. Okay. I'm not going to say that because it could be, but the thing is a lot of times these transactions, when you involve dalalis, because it involved 5 or 6 different people, that's 5 or 6 different dynamics, right? So when you're dealing with 5 or 6 people who don't trust each other, you can end up with a problem in a transaction. Because those 5 dalalis do not trust each other, guaranteed, right? You could throw in dalali, they're going to say it's 5 of us involved, 4 of us involved. Am I right or am I wrong?
You're right.
You did your property. He told you it was not just me, it's my other friends, right? So they don't trust each other. So if the transaction is about to go down, they're not sure if you're the lead dalali and there's 4 dalalis behind you. They're not sure if you're giving them all their money that you said. So then what they do, they call the owner. How much money is it? Now the owner's getting irritated. Or they calling the seller. I'm looking for my money. And now everybody's like, what is all this? Between the seller, the buyer, and the other dalalis, everybody starts thinking about the money. And then it creates the whole aura of distrust between the buyer, the seller, and everyone, because people feel like someone's going to crook them. And all the dalalis feel that with each other. Even if they work together in 10 years, they want to make sure that someone's not crooking them. So that dishonesty bleeds over into the transaction, into the buyer, and into the seller, where people start calling them. And that's why government is trying to put a regulation on this, because who's getting affected? The people getting affected are the investors are getting affected on this. People who want to do transactions, they're getting burned, either paying double the price they should have paid for something, which wasn't fair, or they're sitting where that they can't get their investment off the ground because of all this. People block it. They're blocking the transfer, blocking some type of registration until the dalalis get their money because it's not on paper. So if I was to give any advice to every dalali, which is why I tell you there's professional dalalis and there's other dalalis. A professional dalali is going to bring you something on paper. You're going to sign something, so he's protected. So if every dalali puts stuff on paper, you don't have to follow up with people and say, where's my money, where's my money, where's my money? Because your money is sitting in escrow. So as soon as the deal is over, escrow has your agreement with the owner, and escrow pays you your money when this deal is over. No one can cheat you of your money. That's what we have to do, is start using more escrow. Then you should put honesty. But if you're dealing with humans and dalalis and you're expecting this other human to give you your money when it's time, he's not going to give it to you. The owners of houses cheat dalalis. The owners of properties cheat dalalis. So dalalis, which is rightfully so, they decide, I'm going to cheat somebody because I'm getting cheated. The owner tells the dalali, hey, I'm going to sell my house for, 100 million shillings. Dalali sells it for 120 million. He says, I want 100 million. To the Dalali, whatever you get past that,
It's yours.
It's yours. But then the Dalali gets lucky
and
he sells 200 million. What's the chances that owner's going to give you 100 million when he's only getting 100 million? The chances are so slim. So that's where the problem then starts, right? So now the owner says, hey, I got my taxes to pay. Hey, I give you 5 million. But now the Dalali has already calculated he's getting 100 million. He knows what car he's going to buy. He knows his kids get to go to school here. He's calculating his money. So imagine you think for 6 months you're going to get 100 million from this transaction. And then the seller crooks you and only gives you 5 or 10 million shillings. End of the relationship, right? That's my part.
So a Dalali is a victim of their environment then?
Because he's not doing stuff by the book. So if you don't do stuff by the book, you're going to get caught. It's just like if you cheat your taxes, you eventually will get caught.
Eventually,
If you pay your taxes, you make more money.
Yeah.
Like the bank. If you put your money in the bank, they give you money.
Yeah.
But if you try to hide it in the mattress, you never get it.
Yeah.
So if you pay your taxes, the government sees you paying your taxes, they open doors for you. Next thing you know, in your business, hey, can you cover this whole event for us? Because they know you do. When you hide and you're not declaring these things, you find yourself just always hiding this, moving this, doing that, and your level of dishonesty is highlighted, and then you don't trust no one around you. A crook never trusts another crook.
Yeah, like a thief doesn't trust another thief.
A thief never trusts a thief.
So we've got a Dalali, we've got a professional Dalali, and then we've got an agent.
Right.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
And the difference between the professional Dalali and the agent is... Because the professional is already...
No, the difference between the professional Dalali and the agent is the professional Dalali is, he really knows his stuff. When I say professional Dalalis, they know stuff. They know the market. They know what's going on. They know about mortgage rates. They know about this. They just don't have an office structure to work in.
Okay.
They work on their own because they worked on their own for so long.
Okay.
We have a lot of those in Tanzania, in mainland.
Okay.
Zanzibar, not so many. But mainland, you have a lot of professional Dalalis.
Okay.
And those guys are great to work with. You know, I mean, I'll say these guys really, I want them to come work with us, but they've been working on their own for so long.
They're independent.
They're independent, right? They just happy with their own little space.
Okay.
But
so you don't hire professional Dalalis, then you hire?
No, we have.
You have before?
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
Like on purely commission basis or
yeah,
like
for
staff?
Sure. No, commission basis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lately on Netflix, I've been seeing a lot of these series where they have real estate agents showing and selling very cool property in like New York and what.
Yes.
And it's always at the office is like, there's like a founder, usually a guy, and a bunch of hot chicks who are the ones selling the property.
It's called TV.
Exactly. Is there any reality?
No, man.
No,
man.
No.
I know some real estate companies who have mimicked those shows. They got some in South Africa. They got a beauty salon inside their office.
Has it worked?
Yeah, they all look like Barbie dolls.
Does it help?
Oh, yeah, it helps.
Okay.
Oh, it helps, for sure. Because you understand that
because people
by and large and by nature, most people trust women more than men. How many female Dalalis you know?
Not enough.
Right. But if you did, you would trust her more.
Yeah.
There's a reason why there's more women in this business than there are men. Who controls the money most of the time? Not being chauvinistic, but who controls the money most of the time?
What, like in a household?
In a household.
Who controls the money?
Who controls the money?
Who controls where it goes?
Right.
I guess the woman.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have the woman controls it, but the man makes a decision, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So that's why you have those hot chicks. The hot chicks, the man is attracted to this hot chick, but the woman is going to validate it. So most men are bringing the money home, right? So in most cases, you're going to find in real estate that there's women because they're more trustworthy. The woman's going to trust that woman more and the man's going to trust that woman more.
The woman's going to trust the woman more too?
The woman, as long as she's respectful. right? If she coming in with her what do you call it, red bottoms on with a little mini skirt, not so. You might not want to do that coming to somebody's husband, right? But if the woman respects that other woman, she'll create that dialogue. And also, a real woman is always going to greet that woman first before she greets the man. If you greet the man first, you're dead. That's a little something for just respect. A woman should never, ever greet a man before greeting another woman. So a good real estate agent would know that. So this business started off primarily women, housewives, was the real estate agents. So that's how it was. The men was out working. The wives became real estate agents because it gave them flexibility of schedule. They can go out and show a house and then go pick their child up from school, take their child to soccer practice. It gave them flexibility because a real estate agent is, your time is yours. Yeah. You're like an independent contractor, right? You don't punch a clock. So it gives them flexibility. So that's why so many housewives got into it. Men started getting into it by seeing how much money the women were making.
Yeah, and then it didn't make sense.
And then
to continue working for
exactly.
pennies. Yeah.
So people, we all trust women more than we trust men most of the time.
Okay.
I've had men work for me. I don't have to tell you. If you have a man working for you, what is that man going to do? What is he going to do?
Well, it depends.
No, what is he going to do eventually? What is he going to do eventually? What is that man going to do for eventually? A man that works for a man is eventually going to do what?
Compete.
Exactly. He wants your spot. But a woman doesn't want your spot.
Maybe because they're more emotional in nature. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're more emotional. But also, damn, we're going into a different conversation now. Also, why are they more emotional? When women, when they're childs, they don't share. Their friends come over, they'll share for a minute, then they take in their toys. But little boys, we share with our friends. Little girls don't share. They don't share. You touch her doll, she's snatching it from you. So that goes on and on and on and on. So women have to always be recognized. They need recognition all the time. Like you got to tell them that they're beautiful. You got to tell them that you're smart. Even if they are that already, they got to still hear it. Why is the worst thing for a woman is when a woman starts getting old, right? If no one's telling her she's beautiful, she doesn't feel it anymore. Do I need someone to tell me I look good? Does someone need to tell you look good?
Not really.
I don't know. I don't care. We don't care.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
And that's what, in the work environment, we have to always realize that. And sometimes I'm guilty of it, is that I don't baby staff. You know what I mean? If you do something wrong, I'm telling you to do something wrong. If you do something great, I tell you to do something great. You know what I mean? So it gets in trouble when you highlight the mistakes.
Too much.
To women, yeah.
Or too bluntly.
Men can take it. Men can take it, but women can't. And I'm trying to be better at it, but it's just not in me. I've been a bad boss since the beginning of bosses. I'm bad. But the ones who stick with me, they understand that listen to what I say, not what I mean. Right? I may not say it in the delivery you want me to say it, but listen to what I said, not what I'm, you know what I mean? Listen to what I mean, not what I say.
Listen to what I mean, not what I said, yeah.
Listen to what I mean, not what I say.
Try to understand where it's coming from.
Right. Okay. Don't get offended from the tone and the words.
Get the message.
Get the message.
Yeah. Are you happy?
Super happy.
Yeah?
But I've been happy my whole life, man.
Yeah?
I promise you.
Yeah?
I don't fake it. I've been happy my whole life.
Yeah?
My entire life. I'm talking about even when I got the shit beat out of me by my parents. It was great.
What?
Oh, man, I had a great life. If I tell you my life, I'm supposed to be dead or in jail. For sure. But I had a ball. I used to get the crap beat out of me. Come from an abusive household. My mother shot my stepfather in the face. I was there. But hey, here we are. I tell you, I have no regrets. You know, even as I get the crap beat out of me, we laugh about it, me and my brother and sister, this day. I have no, bro, I had a fantastic life. Nothing. But it's also my perception. I don't believe in a such thing as a devil.
Yeah,
I don't believe in
that.
bad. I don't believe in bad. It's only good. There's only good. There's no such thing as bad. Bad is from the devil and its perception, so you stay on the path of righteousness. So you create this monster over here to stay away from. So you stay on this path. This monster doesn't exist because every book known to man says there's only one. So why we believe in this other one? Why? Every book says there's only one. The Alpha and Omega. There's only one God. Jesus is not God. Muhammad's not God. There's only one God, right? There's no other. So how can the devil be as strong as God when there's only one? So that's why I don't believe in the devil. And I don't believe in bad because the bad associate with the devil.
You don't believe in the devil. Do you acknowledge it?
Nope, don't acknowledge him. There's nothing in my life I can give him credit for. Okay. He gets no credit for nothing he's done. Nothing. I don't know nothing he's done.
So is that because of belief or is because you've decided to look at things in a particular angle exclusively?
Yeah, because I decided to look at things at a different angle.
So it's a perception.
It's like it's a glass half full or half empty. Right. It's a choice.
Yeah.
Everything's a choice. It's how we perceive it, right?
So is happiness also a choice?
Happiness is a choice.
Okay.
If you can believe all the psychologists and then you can believe all these people on the psych meds saying that I'm depressed, you believe it then. Then believe it, because that's what's going to happen.
Wait a minute. I understand where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And this week, I was having a conversation with a guy who became a friend and is like a brother to me now.
Uh-huh.
And he's younger. He's a little bit younger than me. He's getting married.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, yo, man, getting married, what's the difference?
True.
Right? And I was like, well, first of all, love is a choice. At least that's what I said. And that's my opinion. It's not a feeling. It's a choice.
Mm-hmm. Responsibility.
It's a responsibility.
Right.
So
it's not love.
If you choose feelings, then you're choosing a very, very weak and flimsy thing. And you should probably quit before you even get started.
Yeah,
so
sure.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
Like it's a choice. You decide to continue to do it, hopefully forevermore, or until you don't. It's a choice.
Love's an emotion.
Karibu kwenye Msasa, where we talk to successful people about failure.
And they tell you control your emotions. Emotion is the most dangerous.
Right.
What we call it? What they call it? What they call it? The emotion is part of your sixth sense, right? Is it the emotion?
No, I don't know that.
I can't remember what it is. Anyway, emotion is one of our dangerous feelings because it takes us from reality, right? You're unable to make logical decisions with emotions attached.
Yeah. All right. So this is directly tied to controlling your emotions and what you choose to penetrate and whatnot?
Yeah, it's like you can decide on what you want to believe. Remember, these are belief systems, right?
Yeah.
We've been indoctrinated with this belief system that says that this is what we're supposed to believe, right? If I go back to you talking about a fire, okay? We believe because we're taught that the fire is hot and it will burn you. But there's also these workshops and what they call it, corporate retreats, where people walk on hot coals.
Yeah.
And their foot does not get burned
because
their mind doesn't let it affect the reality, right? Or you take a small child. You know, like I just told you, I have my son to be 2 years shortly, 2 years old. Can we watch them all the time? Sometimes they do stuff that we don't see. So let's say they go to the stove and they touch the hot stove. Do they burn?
Well, yeah.
Or maybe no, because they don't know it to burn. Because if you don't know it to burn, does it burn? It's like the guy who walks on hot coals. his feet comes off with no burn marks. How is that? How you can work on hot coals for like 20 meters and you have no blisters on your feet from these hot coals? It's believing. Belief systems. Similar to like, we know this region is known to believe in whatever you call it, witchcraft voodoo, right? Witchcraft voodoo is belief. If you believe in it, oh, it's going to show itself. Whatever you believe in, absolutely 200% will show itself.
You're going to see
So if you take that same belief system and work it towards your benefit to what you believe about yourself, what you believe about your career, what you believe you're going to achieve, you're just changing the matrix on this. It's a frequency. It's all frequencies. Like everything we do is a frequency. This mic is sitting here working at a frequency. If it's not the right certain frequency, he's going to get static in the recording because the frequency is off. It's like cell phones, the frequency. Our voices, they say, we're not speaking a language. We speak a frequency. So if you want to learn another language, you got to learn the frequency of that other language. That's how you learn a language. So that's all energy. Frequency is energy. So if you believe in bad, you're believing in a different frequency that I'm not accustomed to, nor do I prescribe to. So I cannot hear the sound of bad because I'm not in that frequency to hear it. Anything happens to me is never bad.
What is it then?
It's a lesson.
It's a lesson.
It's a lesson. If someone dies, oh, is it bad? Is it?
It's sad.
It's sad. It's not bad. You know what I mean? You have to decide that, like we were speaking earlier about, if someone dies around me, okay, I can be sad, but I should be happy that they've been called to a higher place, if that's what you believe. We've been taught to believe in
heaven and
hell, right? Not saying nothing wrong with people's belief systems. Okay, so that every person that I know die, I assume going to heaven, right?
Or hell.
Or hell, but that's bad. I don't believe in the devil. I don't believe there's a hell.
Okay.
I don't believe there's such thing as hell.
All right, so it's only heaven.
It's only heaven. It's only good. So I should be happy that they're going to heaven. My sadness is because my selfishness that I miss this person and I can't touch or talk to this person anymore. And all of our ancestors, as we know, we respect our ancestors, but religion says there is no life after death, but we all believe in life after death. So why should we be sad if they go into a better place? So I take this back to your question of bad and good. Let's break it down. It's called a polarity.
Okay.
A polarity is this. Okay. A frequency does this. Right? That's what a frequency does. This frequency travels like that. A polarity goes like this. It's a straight line. On the end of a polarity, you have bad and you have good on this polarity. It's the same polarity, up and down, right and left. Whatever the opposite is on the same polarity. So what I do in my thought process and my belief is this polarity that they say is bad and good is just a degree of good in my book. It's not bad though. It's just a degree of good. If you believe in that there's only good, then only good comes your way. And only good people associate with you. The bad people run. The bad people are scared of good people.
Aren't the bad people a certain degree of good?
Nope.
According to that book?
Which book?
The book where it's only a degree of good. So it's like...
But it's not a book.
Like really, really good or not good at all.
But that's not a book. That's a philosophy.
Well, philosophy
okay.
Then.
So, no.
Okay.
Because the energy is bad with those people. The energy is bad. The frequency is off. You shouldn't be nowhere near that frequency. Okay, let's take it back on a personal level. People have friends. You have friends. Why you have some friends that always have a problem, always got an issue, always has a story, always has an excuse. And you try to save them, but you can't because that's them. That's their frequency. They're not getting out of it anytime soon. They're not because it's what they believe. And they think that everything in life is against them and nobody's helping them. And they blame everybody but themselves for their problems. Me, and I tell you, if I could just sidetrack, I talked about my real estate career back in Atlanta when I first started. And I remember one of my first clients is my friend to this day. His name is Michael Morrison. He's still in Atlanta. We still talk all the time, right? And this guy sat me down one time. And he told me, we're about the same age. This guy tells me, he says, he had a lot of money. He's my first client. This guy, he's multi-millionaire now, okay? But at the time, he was just starting out young. His father basically gave him $100,000 to start his business. And his father said, I'm giving you this $100,000 and I'm giving you a Corvette. If you don't make this work, you can't come back to me for nothing else.
Corvette is a car, right?
It's a car.
Yeah.
Chevrolet Corvette.
Okay.
Would you know in 5 years, he took $100,000 and was making $6-7 million a year with $100,000? He buys a new Ferrari every 2 years to this day. New Ferrari every 2 years. That was in 1992, and we're still friends. So this guy tells me, he says, look, if something's bad happening in your life, don't tell me. He says, I don't want to know. Because I feel like if it's happening bad to you and you're around me, it's going to come to me. So never tell me your bad news. And that's how I've been. He's the one, I promise you, I never tell people, if my stuff is bad, you will never know. No one knows when stuff is bad, as they call it. Things are not going my way, no one knows. If I'm broke, no one knows. I don't ask no one for anything. That's when you show your vulnerability. If you ask for something, it shows your weakness. Don't ask, keep going. So when we talk about friends that ask repeatedly, always need something.
Yeah.
Cut them off. They're going to need something the rest of their life. If I help you once, okay. Twice, even quick. But you come third time, we're done. We are done. Another good friend of mine told me, you only got 2 or 3 emergency phone calls in your life with a person. Use those calls wisely.
Yeah.
Don't call for no stupid stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Work it out first, because when you make too many phone calls to people, they don't want to be bothered with me. If you are giving me if you got too much stuff going in your life, I don't want you. I don't want you in my office. I don't want you around me because you're negative, you're a problem. So if you keep the negative people away from you, you succeed, because the negative people like to suck your energy. So I'm not going to say bad. I can say negative, because there is a negative and a positive. That is for sure.
Okay.
There's a negative and a positive.
So what do you say about, there's a lot more conversations nowadays about mental health and therapy.
Mental health is bullshit.
And
it's bullshit. Mental health. That's like LBGYQ. It's all the same, man.
Why is it bullshit though?
Man, work that shit out. Work it out.
Because that's what they're saying though. They're saying it can be worked out, and men should speak.
Bro, I might get deported for this shit. First of all, we didn't have it 50 years ago.
Yeah.
We had psych wards. We had psych wards.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Psych wards, ever since like 1910s and stuff, they had that stuff. But we know that a lot of these things contribute to stress.
Yeah.
Other ones, yeah, some people have what they say chemical imbalance. That's what they called it before they discovered bipolar.
Okay.
It's a chemical imbalance that happens in someone. So, okay, those people, okay, I'm not dismissing those people's conditions.
Yeah.
Those are serious. When I talk about mental health thing, is I'm talking about people who are being self-medicated with pharmaceutical drugs. If you had someone close to you that may die tomorrow, you can't deal with the pain. So what you do, you go get a few drugs to deal with the pain, right? But then those drugs are designed for a period of time. They're not designed for you to take them for 10, 15 years. And that is the part where mental health kicks in. Mental health is promoting for you to stay on those drugs until the day you die. The drugs are not designed for that. I told you, I was an investor in a mental health facility in Houston, Texas.
Okay.
When I invested in this business, I decided I was going to live in the facility so I can better understand the business. So I lived with bipolar, schizophrenic patients all day, every day for 3 months to understand them.
Okay.
What I realized with those that were there is that most of them were not psychotic or bipolar. They were addicted to the drugs. They did not want to live without the drugs they were being prescribed.
But mental health, when people talk about mental health these days, they're not just talking about suppressing or dealing with mental health by taking drugs.
Karibu kwenye Msasa, where we talk to successful people about failure.
They're talking, but
to a very large degree, they're talking about what you don't want to hear, which I completely agree and respect, and I get where you're coming from. But they're talking about the stuff that you're trying to avoid, but from a personal level, don't.
But I think they're just trying to normalize it. I think it's just normalize it. Let's talk about Black culture, okay? This is another thing that can take away our culture like nobody's business. I don't remember a point in time in history ever where if you were Black, you talked about your mental health. You talk with your family about it, but you don't go out and go talk to a psychologist and put your family business on the street. That's what we call it, right?
Yeah.
If you're talking to a psychologist, you're putting family business out there. We don't do that.
Yeah.
But now, because it's being promoted so well that it's okay to do it. It's normalizing it. I'm not saying, trust me, please, I'm not saying that mental health is not an issue. I'm just saying, why do we keep talking about it? It's like we keep talking about mental health, we keep talking about gay rights, we keep talking about global warming, we keep talking about slavery. Why do we keep talking about everything that's negative? Yeah. Right, we just keep talking about everything that's negative, right? And you keep remembering what's negative. When before, mental health was, talk to your family. What African culture? You're married, right?
Yeah.
If you want to get a divorce, what are you supposed to do? You go talk to the family, the elders, the about your decision.
Right.
Are you making the right decision? Why can't we do that now when it comes to mental health? Why we got to go get pharmaceutical and go talk to psychologists to work through? Why I want to talk about it to a stranger about my situation? A stranger who doesn't know you from Adam. And what are they going to do? They're going to tell you, and how does that make you feel? And how does that make you feel? They're not giving you a solution. They're giving you a prescription to deal with your issue. It's a pharmaceutical thing. It doesn't make sense. And I remember I have great friends of mine in Houston, Texas. My friend, remember I tell you about friends I helped through medical school and helped them to, this is one of my great friends to this day. And I go to see him one time in Texas, and we go to one of these family restaurants with him and his kids. And something happens with the family. And I'm like, well, what the fuck, what's going on? I don't know what's going on. And then the mother says, oh, yeah, blame me. The mother says that. I'm like, what did I miss? What did I miss? And the kids are like, James, we're trying to tell them that we don't want to see these psychologists all the time. They're wasting their money with sending us to psychologists because they're wasting their money because all the psychologist does to us is tell us, how does that make you feel? How does that make you feel? How does that make you feel? This is what the kids told me.
Right.
And I'm like, what? I said, you guys are going to see therapists? And these guys they're both PhD. Professor, run stuff in their community.
And
they have to go see that psychologists deal with their kids.
But doesn't that tell you something?
It tells me that we've gone too far. I think that we need to go back to family. That's what it tells me. Go back to family.
But what if you grew up in an abusive family? And
No,
the
but
abuse never went away.
But that's your abusive family. Look, I tell you, I grew up in that environment. But I got all my brothers and sisters, cousins, uncles, aunties.
Okay.
Go to your family.
Okay.
Why do we have to do this thing? But it's being promoted. Why? Like, I have no problem with LGBTQ. But what is it? What is it really? What is it really? It's a sexual preference.
Yeah.
It's a sexual preference.
Yeah.
Why is a sexual preference become a cause? Why is that deserve a certain right? Because that's your bedroom. Yeah. Why does what happened in your bedroom needs to have a right to it?
Why is it political?
If you want to dress up like a girl, do that. If you want to get a sex change, do that. But it doesn't need to be a categorized as a right. This is just how I feel. Do your thing, do your thing. Why don't we have some type of straight club? Why don't we have a straight flag? Actually, I Googled it the other day. There's a straight flag. You know that?
There is no.
There is. You guys don't know?
No.
3 days ago, 4 days ago, maybe a week ago.
What color
I was
is
with
it?
friends. It's black and white. It's black and white, and it has a flag. It has the male and the female sign that Prince used to use. That's the straight flag. But why don't we have a week for straight people? Why don't we have a straight parade? Why don't we have the parade of the sane people? All these things are there for a reason. Do you know every cause is funded by organizations?
Yeah.
They're all funded so that we stay on these causes. And we believe them. We believe them. Like feminists. The feminist argument didn't exist 30 years ago. They made up the word and created a cause. And now everybody's feminist. That's why they're not married. Oop. Sorry. But all of this stuff is designed, and people have heard it before.
Yeah.
And it's all designed to make sure that there's no families. That's what it's designed for. Because if I know you go to psychologists, you got mental problems, what's the chances I'm going to ever date you? 0. You crazy. Why am I going to date you? Am I right? That's a label.
Yeah.
Because you went to, I talk about my mental health. You crazy. That's what we say. I don't want to be in a relationship with you. 2, you gay. You're not going to have any children. How can 2 gay people have a child? Impossible. Wipe out the mistake factor and you're not having any children, period. Okay? Yeah. Family. Right? Those are the 2 that keeps you from having a family. Our family is our strength. It's always been our strength, especially in our culture. You talk to your family about stuff. You don't go out to talk to strangers. It's like a snitch, right?
Yeah.
We call it snitch. What does white people call it?
Therapy?
No.
What?
The word snitch. You know what the word snitch,
I know
right?
what the word snitch is.
So what white people don't call snitching.
What do they call it?
There was a mold, a leak.
A leak.
You're a leak. You're not a snitch. So it's a softer version. A snitch is like, you're bad.
Harsh, yeah.
But if I was a mold or I was just a leak, I can recover from that. Right? Yeah. Not that it has much to do with it, but I'm saying it's how we're promoted to stuff. So if we're constantly promoted these things that are negative and people are like, take on to what's negative, how do we ever grow? How do we ever grow? So if we're reducing the chances for families, we're reducing the chances of children, which means if we're reducing the chances of children, we're reducing the chances of population.
James, as somebody who believes in what they believe in as deeply as you believe in it, has there ever been a time when you were shaking your belief?
I used to believe in the devil, but I stopped. You know, when I was 6 years old, We had a big red carpet in our bathroom. This big red carpet in our bathroom, it said, in our bathroom, the devil made me do it. So whenever my mother wanted to beat me or spank me, I would say, Mama, the devil made me do it. But I read it on the carpet. The devil was right there with the pitchfork and words on the street. And every time you go to church, they talk more about the devil in the church than they do about God. They say, stay away, the devil, the devil, the devil. So that is one. Other beliefs, I'm not saying that my belief system is right. I'm just saying that my belief system works for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not trying to impose it on no one else. I'm not trying to be no motivational speaker telling everybody, don't believe in the devil. It works for me not to believe in him. But I don't believe him, like I said, because there's nothing in my life that I can give him credit for. Is there anything in your life you can really give him credit for?
But why would I want to give him credit to begin with?
Yeah. Why would you want to give him credit? Because you give him credit, you give him presence.
Yeah, you empower.
Like voodoo. Right. Everybody people who voodoo works on are the people who believe in voodoo. It doesn't work on them if you don't believe in it. It doesn't. I tell you, I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana. My mother's from New Orleans, Louisiana. I know every voodoo story known to man. And I know they believe in it. We got aunties that believe in it.
You ever heard any Tanzanian voodoo stories?
I've heard it. What's that Buddha? What's his name? The guy that said, don't say his name 3 times or he appears.
What?
There's a guy in Zanzibar. I can't remember the name. They said, but if you say his name 3 times, he appears.
Who's that, Saidi?
Who's from Zanzibar?
Saidi is. Where's the mom?
He's afraid to say it. He's afraid to say the name.
He's afraid to say it.
He won't say it. He won't say the name.
Oh.
That's Zanzibar. They won't say this guy's name 3 times.
Okay.
His name is Buddha, Kuma, Buba, something like that. And people said they've seen him. So many people say, I've seen him.
Hey, what's the name if you say it 3 times? What?
Zanzibar. The Zanzibar name. No, it's one in Zanzibar. They say, don't say his name 3 times or he appears. Yeah, that's it. What's his name?
What?
That's it.
No.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's
really?
the one. Yeah.
Saidi, that's the one?
How you say it?
Scared?
How you say it? How you say it? Pupu. Yeah, Popo Bawa. Where is it? Popo Bawa. Where is it? Popo Bawa. He didn't show up. Where's he coming? Popo Bawa. Exactly.
But you know the story of Popo Bawa?
I heard so many stories of Popo Bawa.
He rapes niggas.
He what?
He rapes
Yeah,
niggas.
I heard. Okay. That's what I'm saying. So let's find that guy he raped. Let's talk about the guy who raped.
Well, maybe not.
Yeah, I'm gonna get in trouble for this interview.
No, it's fun.
I guess y'all trying to get me thrown out the country. That's why I did this interview.
No, we're not.
Let's hear his crazy thoughts.
No. This has been very interesting. It's gone a completely different way, but the message is still there.
I hope.
The message is still there. Want to get serious a little bit.
Okay.
And we have a segment in the show called Njia Boxing. Njia Boxing, what we would like to talk to you about is specifically about entrepreneurship.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And mindset. And because you've said so many things and even given so many examples.
Right.
Such as one, without saying it, you've expressed how the power of research, right?
Yeah.
Because research reduces your risk, right?
Right.
Research makes sure you know what you're getting into before you get into it.
Right.
And it allows you to make an informed decision. Whether it's good or not good, you'll figure that out later, but it's informed, right?
Right.
You invested in this psychiatric thing and you were there for 3 months to live with those people.
To understand the business.
Trying to understand the business.
Right.
And overall, what I'm seeing is that is a very high investment of time, which directly or indirectly translates to a shitload of patience, you know? And that does come back to character because, hey, if this is personally my entrepreneurial journey, if there's something I'm learning a lot is patience. Like, it's a lot of with everything, with the infrastructure, with the government, with the people, with the clients, with the team. Patience. You know, and choose your battles. Not everyone is worth fighting.
I agree.
And so I want to talk to you about entrepreneurship. So it doesn't necessarily have to be real estate, but entrepreneurship, the power of research, the value of sales and knowing what to sell and mindset. Like from everywhere you've lived and people that you've met, your age, younger or older, what are the things that people who, before they get into entrepreneurship, have it really wrong? Like, this is not what it is. It's actually this.
Right.
Yeah.
I would say, let's first talk about, I would like to say, straight, how you say it? Categorically, what they say? Categorically.
Yeah.
Straight categorically, don't do it. That's what I would tell people.
Right.
Don't think of being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
That's first. It is not for everybody. But if you want to do entrepreneurship, there should be one guideline. And that the first thing that you can know whether you can be successful as an entrepreneur or not is to know is were your parents entrepreneurs or not? Okay? Do you come from a bloodline of entrepreneurs? If you didn't, it's not a good idea to try it. Because what does that bloodline teach us? If you come from a bloodline of entrepreneurs, you know what it's like not to have a check come in the house for 3 months. You know what it's like that we need to share this food because we don't know when the next money's coming in. You know what I mean? You know that struggle. That's first. That would be that. And then the other part.
So first is don't do it.
The first is don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Guys, let me go. You know, we talked about blah, blah, blah. And I go to the James theory, right? But it's not really a theory. It's factual. The entire world promotes entrepreneurship. There's a reason why every government, every world, every organization, everybody promotes entrepreneurship. There's a reason why there's so many NGOs in Tanzania that helps entrepreneurs. Do you know why that is? Why everybody promotes you to work for yourself? Why?
No, I don't know why. Genuinely, I don't know why.
Okay, let's go back. What's the chances of failure rate as an entrepreneur?
Extremely high.
Yeah, it's about 80% that you're going to fail, right? 20% get through.
It's just 80? I thought
Within 5 years, everybody's gone.
Right.
About 6% gets past that.
Yeah.
All right, so the reason why they promote entrepreneurship is because entire world, the largest tax base and the largest employers of every country are entrepreneurs.
Like small businesses, SMEs.
Small businesses, right. So that's why they want you to do this. The largest tax base and largest employers. But don't mean you're going to make it because most do not make it. But if you've studied anthropology or whatever, right? You get a job anthropology. By having a job, you can make more money than being an entrepreneur. All you got to do is control your spending, control your budget. The problem everybody makes with a job is as they get more money on their job,
the spending goes with it.
The spending goes with it because they get to keep up with the other people. If I become a supervisor, I hang out with more supervisors. Those supervisors now live in a different neighborhood. So I got to move to this neighborhood. So you end up raising and spending your money. But if you can just hold on, it's better to be employed. How hard is it to do what someone says do? That's employment. He said, do this every day at this time. Just do it and you win and you get promoted. But an entrepreneur, You got to come up with new ideas, new everything, every single day. You know what time I go to sleep every night? Any time between 12 and 2, 3 p.m. Every night. From 6 to 7, well, first, 5 I arrive home. I play with my son until 7:30, 8. After 8, I then start looking at the news, get my news, catch up what's going on, look at something real estate related. Then I start working by 10. By 10, I have to plan everything and come up with ideas how I'm going to keep this company and how I'm going to keep paying these employees. Because guess what? Who gets paid first in the company?
The people.
The people. The employees get paid. We get paid last. They don't get that. They just see the officers and then they say, I want that. Well, take this. You know what I mean? I'll be happy to give it to you because they don't understand. So I think that the entrepreneurial stuff is just something that in people's head, but especially in Tanzania, everybody wants it. I don't know anybody under the age of 30 that doesn't do more than 3 or 4 things. How are you going to be successful with anything doing 4 or 5 things? Why? How? You're not giving anything 100%. It's impossible to be successful that way. Any expert would tell you, the people who were successful became successful doing one thing. Once that became successful, then they branched off to something else. That's what I'm talking about. We go back to Dalalis. You're selling cars, you're selling motorcycles, you're selling tours, you're selling houses. I don't know what you do.
Okay.
You have to be known for something. So when you talk about entrepreneurship, if someone wants to do it, the only ingredient that makes you successful as an entrepreneur is called passion, not money. If you're passionate, if you want to be an entrepreneur, do it. You have to do something that you would do and would not make any money. I didn't say it the right way, but you must, whatever you're going to do, you would do it for no money.
You would do it for free.
You would do it for free. So if you want to be an entrepreneur, it would be something you would do for free. Don't do it for the gold pot at the end, because that gold pot is not promised, and most people fail. So follow your heart, follow your dream, do your passion, then be an entrepreneur. But don't be an entrepreneur without having at least 10 years in the workspace. Work for some company for at least 10 years in the field that you want to be an entrepreneur. Get that information from that company. That company information is a wealth of knowledge that you can never, ever in your whole lifetime acquire. You get that information from the company, then go be an entrepreneur. But don't go out there from watching music videos that now I'm going to go and be this thing. It's not going to work. And I have these chats, the biggest thing I talk about in Tanzania is that everybody, we got literally in our archives, several thousand of CVs. Of several thousand CVs, 99.9% are useless because either they have no experience or every job was 1 year, 1 year, 1 year, 1 year, 1 year, 1 year, 1 year. If you come to me, you want a job, and I see 1 year, 1 year, 1 year, 1 year, 1 year, I'm throwing that away. Because I'm just going to be another year on your CV. How long does it take to train someone as an employer? I'm going to spend 6 months training you at least.
It's 6 months.
All that time.
Yeah.
And then 6 months later,
it's
you leave.
It's almost impossible for it to be less.
It's almost impossible.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying the entrepreneurial thing, it's a journey. You got to be willing to starve, not have no food. You got to be willing to take advice from people. You got to be willing to go and perfect and do workshops and build. You can't just decide you're going to open up your little boutique, sell clothes, and think you're going to be successful without research about the textile industry. So that's why I think that entrepreneurship, if I had to do it all over again, I would have never been an entrepreneur. I promise you. If I know what I know now, I would have been working for somebody. Easy. This ain't no joke. This ain't for no, what we say, this ain't for no punks.
So categorically, 1, don't do it. 2, look at your family. Are you from
your bloodline?
Your bloodline. Like historically,
Right.
Do you have an entrepreneurial background?
Yeah.
Why? Because if you do, then it's a little bit more familiar. Is that what you mean?
The hunger is familiar.
You've been
missing a
hungry
meal,
before.
can't pay the electricity. You're familiar
You've seen
with
it before.
Mm-hmm.
It's not too shocking.
Mm-hmm.
And then another one you said was passion, right?
Exactly. Passion.
Do something that you would do free.
Right.
And then do it anyway. And find a way for that to make money. Is that what you mean?
Exactly. Like, I can sit here and reverse this interview. You're doing this for passion. It's in your eyes.
Yeah.
Right? It's in your eyes. You know what? That's why I say you can tell when people are passionate and when people are for money. Right? And when you do passion, it's like you believe in it. I remember when you were in your parents' house, you know? And here you're growing because you're trying to create something. So I think that is the best kind of like message or lesson to give people is follow the passion, what you want to do. If you do your passion, I promise you never be broke. You never be broke. Because the passion attracts the positive energy. You always find yourself in the right position at the right time with the right people that's going to open the doors for you because they believe in your passion. But if I'm going after you for money, that's a different story.
But what if the passion doesn't make money?
It doesn't have to. It always will. It always will. But it depends on what level of money you're talking about. You're like an artist. Most artists don't care about money, right?
Yeah.
What they want to do is people to respect their art.
Yeah.
That's what they're after.
Yeah.
Is their appreciation or someone to buy their artwork.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So you got to decide what it is you want. I just say, and I hope this is the message, is just don't chase money. The money is not the focus. The money is a short-term, like a Band-Aid. You didn't get the surgery, you just put something on it, right? And eventually, the money doesn't sustain. You know, if you're going after money, everybody around you is because of your money. Your wife is because of your money. Your family treats you different because of your money. And when that money's finished, guess what? Including your family,
they're out.
They're gone. They're gone. That's why they say you never tell your family how much you earn. Because they always, when they know how much you earn, they always end up with problems and issues. You never tell them. My grandfather, and I leave with a nice piece of advice from my grandfather. My grandfather, and I just so happen to be the blessed grandchild that spent the most time with my grandfather. And my grandfather always told me, never tell them how much you spend or how much you earn. And it's a lot of reasons for both of those. It's not important in any context, right?
It's not important for them to know.
It's not important for anyone to know how much you spend or how much you earn. What is 99% of the population going to do with that information? To spend or to earn? What are they going to do with that information?
Use it.
Use it for what?
For their gain.
But what will they do with it? What they're trying to size up with that information?
How big or small you are.
Exactly. Exactly. That's when people start treating you different. They say, oh, his house is here. He spent this amount. His car is this. Da, da, da. That's why...
They're trying to size you up.
I have... Only once in my life have I driven a flashy car. And that flashy car I bought, it was my dream car. I bought it, and I would only drive it on the weekends, and I would park it in the garage, but nobody could see it. Only 5 of my friends ever saw the car because it was my gold. When you start doing that kind of stuff, people see. If I'm running around driving a Bentley, it doesn't take a lot to figure out how much that car costs. So that means you got this. So this is when people start getting problems and people start treating you different. You know what they say? When people get money, they say you change. No, it's not you that change. It's them that change because they try treating you different because they know you have money. Like for me, I'm not saying I have money, but I'm saying if you talk to any one of my friends, family, childhood friends, they would tell you I'm the same now as I was when I was 7 years old. I have not changed one iota. And that's what it is. So if you control what you tell them, never tell them what you spend and what you earn, it's not their business because they don't treat you different.
I have one last question for you.
Certainly.
What was the biggest culture shock you had when you came to Tanzania for the first time?
Culture shock? Nah.
It doesn't have to be bad. It could be just like, oh, this is a pleasant surprise. Like most Kenyans say, we always say please because they don't ever.
Oh. Excuse me. I think for me, the only thing, no culture shock because I was in South Africa, right? So everything's kind of similar, food, this. But I think the one thing that, if I can say one thing was that is the thing of Tanzanians don't know how to say no. That one is a problem.
Yeah.
Because everybody can do everything. You ask the electrician, is he a plumber? I can do it.
Yeah.
I can do it. No one can say no. That's probably it. Yeah. And that's the curse of Tanzania. Nobody knows how to say no. Everybody, yeah.
Yeah.
The guy.
It's terrible for business.
It is. Because you rely on these people. They say yes.
Yeah.
They don't show up.
They don't show up.
They're like, but they won't call you to tell you I can't do it. They just don't show up. Have you had, how many employees you have that just fucking just didn't show up? How many?
Not many.
About?
Under 10.
Under 10.
Yeah.
Right. It just didn't show up, right?
Yeah.
They didn't even call you to say, I'm not coming. Thank you for the opportunity. Nothing that, just poof, right?
Sometimes they call you back after like 6 months.
Yeah, when they realize what they did. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is that, and I realized, is that, I tell you just a sidetrack story, if you got time.
Yeah.
You got time for a sidetrack story? Talking about staff. I had a lady that worked with me for started in Zanzibar, 5 years. Opened this DAR office. She runs a DAR office. And I'm like, okay, great. But then she decided to steal money and clients and give clients to dalalis, basically. Right? I'm like, why would you do that? You've been with me 5 years and I gave you an office to run and now you steal the business. Right? So I sit back and I'm like, what would do that? Because now what she did is ruined her CV. The whole 5-year history she had working, if they call me, I'm going to tell them. So you ruined 5 years of track record for a moment with a Delali to make $200 or $300. So what you find is that when people, because Tanzanians are so nice, they don't like confrontations, right? So that's why the thing of they don't know how to say no.
Yeah.
Right?
So they just say
just say yes.
And either do it or don't.
Or do it or not, exactly.
Yeah.
So the same thing if we talk about the staff, why do they leave without saying goodbye?
Feel embarrassed?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they leaving, even though they've done stuff wrong, they know they done wrong. They're embarrassed, but they don't want to confront it.
Yeah.
It's like, you got Zanzibar, Dar es Salaam. Well, let's say Dar es Salaam doesn't count. Let's say Zanzibar. You got hotels galore. I think Zanzibar got like 700 hotels, 600 hotels, Zanzibar, right? Accommodations. Do you know, in every hotel, there's not one Zanzibari or Tanzanian manager.
Yeah.
You know why?
Because they don't know how to say no?
Right. They don't want to discipline the other staff.
Oh, right.
Because I got to live with these people the rest of my life.
Right.
So they don't want that role.
So that's why they bring.
So that's why you got to bring. That's why you got to bring
the
foreigners
people
in.
And foreigners,
exactly.
and South Africans, and
exactly. That's the niceness. So I think that, that is I think people should just be more forthcoming and just say no, I can't do that job. I'm an electrician. I'm not a plumber.
Right.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
But everybody says yes, and that yes gets you in trouble because you can't deliver on that yes.
Yeah.
And that's, again, goes back to, like you say, why do staff just leave without saying nothing? You've had 10, I probably had about 10 as well. The same thing. So you talk about this in entrepreneurial stuff. Talk about staff stuff. You.
What do you want me to say?
Yeah. Don't let a cat get your tongue now.
Like, talk about, what do you mean?
Staff.
What about it?
As an entrepreneur, you got to hire staff, right?
Right.
So what's our billings challenge with our businesses?
Getting good people.
Getting good people. Exactly. That's our biggest challenge. It's not the business.
No.
It's getting good people who would be dedicated for you, not trying to steal from you, not trying to compete with you. I'm sure, I don't want to talk about these guys here, but you get some guys coming with you 3 months. All of a sudden, he decides he wants to start his own production company. After 3 months, straight out of school, guys a little stuff. And that is the part. You don't have enough information to go out and start your own, but that's what we end up with.
Yeah.
Because in Tanzania, everybody wants to be a mogul.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, these are called run-on synthesis.
Yeah. But I agree with you. It's harder to get good people than clients.
And that's what we should be working on, how to help the youth to be dedicated to a profession, not hop around a job. Do you know what the medium age in Tanzania is to this day? The whole population. You know what the medium age is?
I saw it on your status. 17?
17 years old.
Yeah.
You know what that means?
It means we're teenagers as a country.
Bro.
Yeah.
I saw that today. That's why I had to post it. I was just on the stats page. You know, I tell you, I'm always doing something. So I was on the ferry on my way here, and I'm on the Sense Stats page. I'm just checking Tanzanian stats. I'm like, every time I leave, I'm like, what? I was just getting, that's why I had to post that. 17 years old, that means that in 10 years, that's the entire workforce is 27 years old.
The entire workforce is 27 years old. So if you have to be an entrepreneur, maybe now is the best time to think what will be meaningful.
We're useless if our 17-year-olds become our workforce. Become our entrepreneurs now. Because they don't know nothing.
Absolutely.
That 17-year-old need to be inside of a corporate environment.
Right.
And learn before he becomes entrepreneur. Then he's the entrepreneur.
Then he's the proper entrepreneur.
Otherwise, we're going to have this jumping around. Same now. 1 year. It'll still be good because it won't work for them.
Yeah.
Because they don't have enough information.
Yeah.
And then they'll
never really specialize.
Never specialize.
Yeah.
You've been at this.
Yeah.
Since I've known you.
Yeah.
Right?
12 years now.
12 years.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's an expert.
Yeah.
That's 10,000 hours.
Yeah. 10 years is usually an expert.
Right. It's 10,000 hours.
Yeah, it's 10,000 hours.
They say 10,000 hour anything makes you an expert.
Yeah.
So 10,000 hours, what is that? We do the math? What's the math?
For what?
I think 10,000 hours is 5 years.
Plus assuming, assuming you're actually doing it all the time. But the reality is not really. It's not like the whole 8 hours or 10 hours or 16 hours in the day, you're actually doing that same thing. That's why 10,000 hours can happen to you in usually at least 5 to 10 years.
Can I get my phone?
Absolutely.
Let's get this answer. Let's get this answer because I think it's 5 years. And it's not all the time.
It's not all the time. So
it's not all the time. It's based on sleeping. It's based on enjoying family. It's based on everything.
It's based on how much time can you actually focus on something.
Here we go. Please break down how long is 10,000 hours to be an expert at anything? How many months, years, days does that equate to, please? That's including sleep and including rest and time with family.
The idea that it takes around 10,000 hours to achieve mastery in a field comes from Malcolm Gladwell's book, Outliers. If we assume you dedicate around 8 hours a day to learning or practicing, here's how it breaks down. Days, 10,000 hours divided by 8 hours per day is 1,250 days. Months, that's about 41.7 months, approximately 3.5 years. Years, that equals about 3.5 years. This calculation is purely theoretical, as it doesn't account for sleep, rest, or time with family. In reality, achieving mastery often takes longer when factoring in a balanced life.
Yeah, so
there we go.
So 3 years assumes you're actually working 8 hours a day.
That's
which
8 hours
is
a
not
day.
True.
You're not working 8 hours a day.
Sometimes you waste, you're going to show a house, it takes you an hour just to go and back.
Right.
So it's not really 8 hours.
So let's say 3 hours then.
Yeah.
So 3 hours would be about 10 years then.
Yeah. We're in comms. We say it takes 10 years to build a brand.
Comms? Communications.
Communications.
Okay.
It takes 10 years to build a brand. Anything else before that, you've got a logo. But
you got a logo, right?
You know, you've got a logo and the business is running.
And your brand colors.
And brand colors.
You don't want to change.
James, it's been a long month.
It has.
And personally for me, it has been a long week and even a long day.
Really?
And I feel more energetic right now than I've been at the 29th of the month. And I'm extremely energetic.
That's
got
good.
Great energy. Thank you so much for coming.
You're very welcome.
I appreciate it. Karibu kwenye Msasa.
Asante sana.
There you go. A little bit of something.
Lucky the fresh.
Thank you.
No, I
Karibu kwenye Msasa, where we talk to successful people about failure.